How's it going, fellow Detroit Red Wings fans? Today I want to talk about something taught in hockey through most levels and honestly through most sports. And that is that offense wins games, defense wins championships. As of recently, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost to the Montreal Canadians 3-1 in Game 7. I'm sure you heard of it, and this is after having a strong hold on the series with a 3-1 lead on the Montreal Canadiens. I felt like this video had to be made, especially because the Red Wings are right now going through a rebuild, which means they're acquiring assets and big ones that will be having a major effect on the team for 10 to 15 to 20 years, like Moritz Seider, Lucas Raymond, and whoever the Red Wings draft in this upcoming draft. So choosing the right players and laying the right foundation is amongst the most important things for the Red Wings right now. Most teams either choose their quote-unquote right players by choosing to go after the best offensive players or defensive players. To the naked eye, you could say that either one of these options is good, or even that offense is better or more important. Because you look at the top of the league, and they are usually good amount of teams like the Colorado Avalanche, Carolina Hurricanes, Toronto Maple Leafs, Washington Capitals, and the Edmonton Oilers that rely on a heavy offense. The Calgary Flames were also a really good example and got taken down by the Colorado Avalanche when one of their young star defensemen came up and stole the show. That defenseman I'm talking about is Cale Makar. Regardless, all 5 of the teams I listed made the playoffs this season, and only 2 of them made it past the first round. The only 2 are very strong on defense. Hurricanes got and acquired a lot of defensemen and are headlined by Dougie Hamilton, and the Colorado Avalanche have a really good defensive lineup as well, headlined by Cale Makar. Okay, so what's the point of all of this? To say offense doesn't win playoff series? And these examples are all from this season. Okay, sure, let's take a look at recent history, like the last 3 to 4 seasons. Well, the Edmonton Oilers and Toronto Maple Leafs are giant examples of this. They are both beyond way overweighted and offensive. Edmonton Oilers have arguably the best duo in the NHL with McDavid and Draisaitl always being in the top of the scoring, and no real defense to back them up. The last 5 seasons, they have only made the playoffs twice and only won 1 playoff series in those playoff runs, which ironically is more than the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm sorry, Maple Leafs fans. The Toronto Maple Leafs have become one of the most deadly NHL teams since the 2017-18 season and have lost in the first round every season so far, and most famously losing the commanding lead to the Montreal Canadiens just a couple weeks ago. So arguably, the 2 most heavily offensive teams have 1 playoff series victory since 2016-17. Even if you want to argue that it's just how the league is now, then I got 2 more examples, one from recent and one from the 90s. The 2 best teams in terms of wins in a season were the 2018-19 Tampa Bay Lightning that were famously swept out of the first round by the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then the 1995-96 Detroit Red Wings, who were eliminated before going to the final round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Both of these teams the next season didn't show the same offense, and a lot of people thought they were good, but took a step back. Definitely were not the cup favorites everyone had them as the season before, which ironically, they both went on to win the next season. So all this to say is even with this new style of fast, flashy hockey, it's still the same stuff that wins championships. And thankfully, it appears Yzerman knows what to look for and what it takes to get the cup. This season, he had Larkin focus on developing his defensive side and becoming an even better two-way center. It appears he likes and agrees with the way Blashill coaches, which is much more conservative, focusing on limiting chances for the opponent and cashing in once we are able to get a scoring opportunity. All this to say is that offense doesn't win championships. A mixture of offense is great, but the most important ingredient in this mix is having a great defensive game. It's simple, and honestly, I feel like Yzerman has already been executing on those very lessons. Get really strong on defense. You look at his first draft pick as the Red Wings GM, he drafted big German Moritz Seider, who has grown offensively, but more importantly, going to make it really difficult for opposing NHL players to play in the Red Wings zone. This isn't limited to defensemen either. I know a lot of people have talked about how the Red Wings need a better offensive lineup as well, and one of those things could be fixed in the upcoming NHL draft with Matthew Beniers, who is a center who played for the University of Michigan, who put up a solid point production there going point per game, but is known better for his two-way game, being compared to Jonathan Toews of the Chicago Blackhawks. He had the best plus-minus of all players at the University of Michigan, and not that it necessarily matters, but he didn't even have any penalty minutes this season. Alright, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you think. Is defense more important? Are the Red Wings heading in the correct direction? How would you change things if you were GM? Agree or disagree? We want to hear your thoughts. Red Wing Nation was built to be a community of Red Wings fans that could come together and talk about all things Red Wings. If you like this video, please hit that like button. That way we make more content that you like. And while you're at it, please subscribe. That way you can be notified when we upload a video. And until next time, lights on the red light district.